important.
Time has expired. I call the member for Farrer.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. And in amongst the towering hysteria from the opposition spokesperson for Water and the member for Kingston, one would be forgiven in listening to this broadcast. Where's it all coming from? What's happened? Have there been some extraordinary systemic developments in the corridors of power in Canberra? There's actually been one Four Corners program. Now, I don't blame Four Corners because they're the media and they do what they do, as we know. But what I do blame is the Labor Party, because they are no friend of rural Australia, they are no friend of the farmer, they are no friend of the irrigator. I mean, I've sort of got to start with one positive for the member for Watson, their sort of limp defence of irrigators. What about your irrigation communities? But we know that you don't care and that you never cared, because we remember when you came into our irrigation communities in 2009 outside the Murray-Darling Basin Plan and you launched the biggest buyback. And you talk about northern New South Wales. What about Terrell Station? What about the extraordinary amount of Commonwealth money that was spent there? I suggest you go and have a look, because what will you see? Nothing. Feral animals, no fences, irrigation communities who once depended on that water, local government areas with families and communities completely let down by the actions of previous Labor governments. Now, I want to make it very clear, Deputy Speaker, that where something has been done wrong, it should be corrected. No question. The Deputy Prime Minister said that. Every one of my colleagues would say that. And every one of my colleagues would acknowledge that if you break the rules, you pay the penalty. But the federal government doesn't run the rivers in New South Wales. We don't do the measuring. We don't do the metering. What about the Constitution? Constitutional responsibility has 5 governments sitting around the table at Murray-Darling Ministerial Council because the states haven't given their responsibility to the Commonwealth. We don't control what they do. We work with them in partnership. This is a political stunt. A political stunt based on a Four Corners program, and nobody on this side of the House has forgotten how Four Corners closed down the pastoral industry in Northern Australia and broke the hearts of so many. No one has forgotten that. I'm not blaming Four Corners, I'm blaming the Labor Party, because it was Julia Gillard, a previous Labor Prime Minister, who took that action. And it's the member for Watson. He's not out there in the basin. He's not talking to our communities, the member for Murray, the member for Broad, the member for all of us. He's not talking to us. What he's doing, he's sitting in his office. He's making statements like the entire reform is in jeopardy. It's a game changer. You know, he's even launched on his website an e-petition. An e-petition, save the Murray-Darling Basin Plan. But I know he's an intelligent person, and I know that he actually realises this has nothing to do with the Murray-Darling Basin Plan. It's on foot, it's underway, and it's happening. This has to do with the possible breaking of rules in a local irrigation system in New South Wales, entirely controlled by the state of New South Wales, with a response that's been entirely appropriate by the New South Wales minister within 24 hours. But what is Labor doing? They are sitting there creating political scares. They never leave their electorates or this building to try and represent rural Australia. It's a shame. I mean, a party that claims its roots under the dig tree in Barcaldine, in the shearing sheds of Western Queensland, a party that once said it had a connection with the rural heart and soul and the spirit of this country, has completely lost it. And you know something? What you really need to do, Member for Watson, is step out of inner Sydney and come and talk to the irrigators I represent, which you once used to do. And, you know, they didn't think you were a bad fellow. They thought you were a lot better than your predecessor. But they didn't. But they will not forgive you for what you did. And they also recognise the truth in what we are seeing here right now, that you've confected motions in the Senate, hysteria in the House, and a whole lot of nonsense around one program of untested allegations, which will be sorted out, which will be confirmed, which will be evaluated, which has all the appropriate action taken. And if you cared about the Murray-Darling Basin Plan, you would give some confidence to that plan today. You would give some confidence to the irrigators that we represent and say to them that we understand that the plan is in all our interests. So we're here doing the hard yards. We're out there working. Reform is difficult. We've got those states around the table. We've got the Ministerial Council to agree to the Sustainable Diversion Limit projects. We're moving to the next stage. There's really good, valuable work done. And I think in one of the remarks that one of your members could have made, You could have noted that. You could have recognised that. And you could have supported farmers, rural Australia and irrigated agriculture, which contributes $15 billion to this country every year. A third of all the agricultural production in Australia is from irrigated agriculture.